Welcome, nephews of the universe. Talking with Uncle Luis about your story, my story, and everyone's story. Where we will talk about your experiences, your real life, your ups and downs in the trajectory of your daily life. Where you come from and where you are going, what you have learned from your experiences, what are your dreams, your achievements, and your talents. Where we hope that some human being benefits from your story, if he or she is in depression or difficult times, they can find a voice of encouragement, hope, love, and a lot of faith. God is by your side, never forget it. Talking with Uncle Luis. These are our stories. We are not advising personally or financially. We are not qualified professionals. Search and do your own research.
Bienvenidos, sobrinos del universo. Conversando con el tío Luis, sobre tu historia, mi historia y la historia de todos. En donde hablaremos de tus experiencias, tu vida real, tus altas y bajas en la trayectoria de tu diario vivir, de dónde vienes y para dónde vas, lo que has aprendido de tus experiencias, cuáles son tus sueños, tus logros y tus talentos. En donde esperamos que algún ser humano se beneficie de tu historia, si él o ella se encuentra en depresión o momentos difíciles, pueda encontrar una voz de aliento, de esperanza, amor y de mucha fe. Dios está a tu lado, nunca lo olvides. Conversando con el tío Luis. Estas son nuestras historias, no estamos aconsejando personalmente, ni financieramente, no somos profesionales calificados. Busca y haz tu propia investigación.
Good afternoon, good evening, good morning. This is Uncle Luis from Conversando with Uncle Luis. Thank you for watching my videos. Then give a like and share with people, because we always have a story. We're gonna go ahead and make it some few words in Spanish to let the people in Spanish to go ahead and do closed caption. That's the same way that I do when it's Spanish and it goes to English, because I want more people to see my videos. So I'm gonna go ahead just a few words in Spanish. Tom is being ready. It's an honor to have him in my channel. Really, we'll tell a little bit of the story of how we met. And that way you see where we come from. I do. Thank you very much. I'm not trying to share some places that I do share all the time, and we go move forward and present Mr. Tom on the screen. Buenas tardes, buenas noches, buenos días, nieces, sobrinos del universo. I was trying to speak English and Spanish at the same time. It happens. So, buenas tardes. Deseo de que por favor, si les pido ahí para que se puedan adherir al closed caption para que puedan entender lo que vamos a hablar con el señor Tom. Es una gran persona, una persona muy humilde. Ahora mismo ya lo vamos a subir para que él empiece a contar parte de su historia, ¿no? Es lo que día a día hacemos aquí, presentar historias para que pueda la gente aprender algo de alguna historia. No le decimos lo que tiene que hacer, pero sí tenemos que decirle de que es de la vida real lo que sucede. Y así que, por favor, ponga closed caption, subtítulos, para que le traduzca de inglés a español. Muchas gracias, Dios me les bendiga y pues vamos para adelante, ¿no? Gracias. Well, I'm back in English. Sorry for that little couple minutes there. But I got to let them know that I speak Spanish people about who I have here and also, what they need to do to understand so they can put the subtitles. When they put the subtitles, so they can learn from. Well, Mr. Thomas being ready for already a few minutes. It's a very humble person, and I admire him because the way we met which we're gonna talk a little bit about that. But I wanna bring him to the screen now, and say hello to him, and we go from that point. Thank you very much for being here. Um, my channel is a channel that it's not many people come and see when we live, but through the days, more people are watching and more people watching, and so that's the way my channel works. Um, is the ways that they're gonna start coming little by little. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and bring Mr. Tom on the screen, and we go from there. Hopefully, we'll be here a couple hours or a little less than that. It depends how the conversation goes. Good afternoon, Mr. Tom. How are you, sir?
Luis, I'm well, and really good to see you again.
Good. Likewise.
I
Likewise, sir.
appreciated the introduction and all that, and it really had me wishing I paid more attention in high school during my Spanish classes.
Oh, you did. so you comprende a little, poquito.
No, as I said, I wish I paid more attention now. Maybe.
No poquito, no poquito.
Maybe, I don't know.
I said you talk a little bit of that Spanish. That's what I was saying in Spanish. Well, the way we met, it told me the kind of person that you are, because not just because you came in the transportation with Uber that I took you to your sister place. It was the way that we were talking about a little bit of everything, but in the same time, you were coming for an emergency, and then you still listen to me. What a patient man you are, man. I admire you, man. Really do. Really do.
Thank you for saying that. Yeah, it was at the time, it was really interesting, right? it was my birthday, and I was flying down to Cape Coral. Because my sister had gone into intensive care, and to meet you. I didn't know at the time, right, that by the end of the car ride, I was going to be committing to do this right now. But I thought it was just a one of those miracle moments where there's an exchange of dialogue and an exchange of, I think, like, authenticity in the questions you were asking, and and it was a pleasure, by the end of the car ride and normally I wouldn't just offer this up, right? I wouldn't, but there was something about our exchange that was very real, and I appreciated it, and happy that the day has come.
Well, that's what I was saying, that it shows me that the kind of person you are. You're very humble, because many people, what would do in that situation, that you would come in an emergency, you're on your birthday, and the last thing that you want to hear is the stories about this and that, and a very different thing. But in a way, it was good, because I took you a little bit out of that situation for a second there, and I guess that what I was telling you, we got some kind of similar situation by around 2008, 2008, 9 and 10. So that we get, if you want, we can talk a little bit about that. I love to talk. I love to talk, because you saw me in the car. How many things that I say to you from the airport to Cape Coral, it's like about 30 minutes, 35 minutes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, please, though, I think it sounds like you have a better memory than me. I would love for you to refresh my memory on some of the highlights of the conversation. As you mentioned it, though, 2008, it's a little bit coming back to me. Some of the struggles, the mutual struggles, right?
That's basically we click on different little things there, but And I think you say you had a business or you were very well in those days. Uh, and same thing that happened to me. I was very well in those days too, before 2008. But we're gonna go that to almost in the end. But I just want to refresh what we talk a little bit how we met, and that way the people see this is a real life right now as it is. It's
Yeah.
nothing edit. It's nothing prepared. It's all gonna come as a real life story that you and I, because while we had the conversation, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and see where my life is kind of almost similar, and some sort of topics in there. So I like to share a little bit about my story because I want to show to the people that might be struggling now, and that they can do better, that they can go ahead and inspire, hear my story or maybe a little bit of your story, and they can hear a little bit about it and they say, "Oh, this guy's that went through a lot of pain, or they went through some pain, and I'm over here. I don't have much of the problem, you know, and
Yeah.
I'm crying and I do these and I do that, and they might be get inspired, right? But we not counselors in any way, no financial advisor, no none of that stuff. This is just the real as it gets, right?
100%. And, thank God we're not counselors or financial advisors. At least thank God I'm not,
I
because
know we
you,
might.
you certainly don't want to, take my advice as, the road that got me here was filled with a lot of pain and suffering. So,
Yes,
but,
yes,
but to learn from it, your point, right? To learn from it.
exactly.
That's how we learn, through stories and through sharing our experience and our strength and our hope, and how we come through adversity. So a very relevant conversation to my entire life.
You're talking about that kind of stories and all that stuff, and I was listening to something a couple of days ago, and the thread that say the people want to know stories because that's what they really learn from. Uh, Sometimes, some people out there that smart, they see, and before they do something that is not good, they stop and they can say, okay, that helped me out not to take that way because so we'd be great, very happy if we know, or if we help somebody anywhere in the world, because this is you be able to see anywhere in the world. uh, so that's the motivation behind the stories that we want to talk at every Saturday, because we want to inspire somebody, but we don't want to tell them what to do. That's why I had the disclaimer in the beginning. I don't know if you hear the disclaimer.
I did.
Yeah, you did. Okay, great. So that makes it, from the beginning. They need to know. They need to do their research, not to do what we say here, because they can come back with trying to put a lawsuit against to my channel, which is a very little channel, but
Yeah.
they can wait in the future if my channel gets to hit 2 million or 5 million. They can come
Yeah.
back and say, because of you, that story that you say there, I do that. Nah, nah, nah.
Well,
So
and there's something really important though about what you're saying, and I, not too long ago, I've known this though my whole life, and I heard it recently on a podcast I was listening to, that reminded me. And it's the idea that we can get a lot of advice, right? But only what's relevant to where we are right now in our lives, and the road that got us there, right? It's that's what's going to determine what I need to move forward, to take the next steps. So it may sound like the best advice, right? And for me, it was sort of, when I first learned about this, I was in my early 20s. I was at a music conservatory studying jazz piano. And one of my all-time favorite musicians, jazz musicians at the time, was Chick Corea, who's since passed, but one of the legends of jazz piano. And I used to think, like, gosh, if I could only get lessons directly from Chick Corea, when I was I was a teenager at the time. And I don't know how I came, upon this sort of maybe a revelation or an insight, but the idea was that even if Chick Corea offered me piano lessons for free at that time, I there was not much I'd be able to do with it because I just wasn't at a place where I could really take advantage of the level of advice he'd be able to give to me, that level of expertise. And I think that's important as we think about where we're at. It's not about just taking someone else's recipe, right, or someone else's formula. We really need to think about what our needs are in the moment and maybe how what we're hearing could apply. But to apply it exactly how that person did, it's not how it really works.
Yeah. Wow. Very, very, very good, man. We are breaking the ice very well. I like that dynamic that we are taking it. We haven't even started yet. We already into 20 minutes almost there.
Yeah, you better tell me how we start because otherwise we'll just keep going.
No worries, no worries. But what I do basically is in the beginning collect some information that I can go uh, back and then okay, let's find out about this part of his life, and then we go from there. But that's what I'm doing right now. Get to know you, get to know where I'm gonna ask you the next questions. Uh, Talking about one thing goes to another. You were talking about piano and all that. I didn't know you had that talent to it. I saw that picture that you sent me to put in the background behind me. I didn't know you had that talent because we talk very little, you know.
Yeah, you know what? I couldn't remember if we talked about it or not. So
No, we didn't talk about that. I just know when you sent me the picture.
interesting. Okay. Yeah. Well, there you go. Another thing, right?
Yeah, we're gonna talk a little bit about that too. So knowing that, like I said, oh, another thing I want to ask you because I know you were coming in emergency. Afterwards, when I left, and I said, man, I was talking to him all this stuff, and he's worried right now for his sister because I know you told me you made it the trip to go see your sister, and that shows that you are a man of love. They love your sister, and that's a very good thing. How she's doing?
Thank you for asking, and I appreciate those kind words. She was she got out of ICU about a week after you and I had met, and has been on the mend and doing better. And she's doing well. So as long as she sticks with the doctor's orders and follows the regimen, eliminates some of the bad habits that can get in the way of optimal health. So yeah, thank you for asking about her.
Very well. That is very good. She's moving forward. That's very good. And once we start doing the right things that just fall in place afterwards. It might take a little time, but do you go to church? You belong to a nomination or anything?
Currently, no. I I would say, I mean, I spent a lot of years. I would say my spiritual path or spiritual journey, it started with when I was very young. I was raised Catholic. And then from there, I had sort of tried to find my own way, and I tried many different things. I studied many different religions, different philosophies. And I would say in more recent years, I sort of came full circle back around to really very deep into Buddhist studies. I wouldn't say I identify as a Buddhist. I don't follow the maybe the religion of it or some of the ritualistic aspects of it, but I do practice a lot of Buddhism and Eastern philosophy.
Very well. Because the reason I ask you, see how humble you are and the man in love. Uh, it comes to me that you will follow good guidelines. It could be the Bible, could be a church, it could be Buddha, like you say, just to say a joke in there. I used, I used when I was a young, always have this. I'm always a little thick, and it was a lady always called me my little Buddha. My belly.
I can see that. I can see that. That's
She was
beautiful.
she was making that. That's many years ago, probably about what 45, 47 years ago.
that's
It was
great.
funny. It was funny. But anyway, that's the way that I go ahead. I basically I doing this for fun, for because I always looking how I can help the human being, how they can put something out there to society, that how we can help someone. Uh,
Mm,
Basically, it, if I were born again, or and knowing what I know now, it will be three things that I will go study first, which I think it will make me stronger and management better and get along better with people. So basically, it's like a psychology, uh, uh, and financials too, how to manage money and businesses, uh, and then how to sociology, how do you can work as a team, how you can bring people together, and it do like that. Um, so, and that's with these things, the stories, and work with the people, because you tell a person, okay, let's go. I'm gonna take you to psychology. The first thing they're gonna say, hey, I'm not a crazy person. Psychology is not a crazy person. You know, it's psychologists help the people to make a mind strong. Uh, I remember when I fell in the business that I was 2 years in depression, because before I had everything. I had a home, I had a wife, I had money, I had a business, everything was going great. But when that part came in, my mind, it broke, and I almost, well, not almost, but when I was on the road in the car, I want a semi to hit me head on, and that way my pain will go away. That was not the solution. The solution was mental.
yeah.
Uh, that's exactly what I'm trying to do with with um with the show, with the program that I have here, conversation with Uncle Louis, because I believe strongly, if it's somebody learn from the, maybe the mistakes I made or the best situation that I went through, is somebody get inspired. It's a life that will we save. And I don't know. And I think you had a two business at some point in your life. You had everything too, um, and probably went through a lot of pain. So that's what I say. To help in a way, because it's easy to tell a story or tell a person, let's go to see a psychology. They're gonna take that as an offensive thing, maybe, because they're gonna say I'm not a crazy person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, what do you think about that?
I mean, there's a lot there that you said that I think is sort of, a lot to unpack, because it's important, right? And it's hard to help somebody that doesn't want to be helped, or that just sort of they're not really aligned with maybe what you're offering. But what you said about failure, about depression, about wanting to die, really, right? I can only speak from my experience, and what drew me to wanting to change things was deep suffering, pain and suffering. Um, it it was even before I had things. It was before I was in music school. I remember when I was young, when I was a child, right? in coming into elementary school, and then throughout my school, there was something that felt wrong inside of me, something that was off. It was almost as if like when I was able to finally like sort of open up and look inside, it was like I had to close it really fast because it was painful. I felt like I didn't fit in. I felt like I didn't belong. I felt everything inside of me like at a level of intensity that was too much for me to handle. Like and everything, the amount of energy it took me to manage like this person that I was trying to be on the outside, to be, you know, to fit in. It took so much energy for me to manage that, um, and that led me to eventually, you know, find ways that I can numb my feelings and escape. And whether it was drugs or alcohol or spending money, you know, if it was, you know, relationships, sex, whatever it was, you know, everything outside of me that can make me feel better. And all that does is, and, you know, I found out after years that, you know, all you're doing is covering up, you know, a wound inside of you that, just is sitting there and festering, and it doesn't heal it. It actually gets worse. And eventually what happened for me is that, like you said, you know, you had failure and sort of went into this depressive cycle. For me, it was sort of hitting a bottom with everything, the overwhelm, the, you know, the harm I had caused others. Because if you're just running around trying to feel better and you're using things, including people, you know, you're always sort of stepping over people to get to the next thing. And you talked about, you know, which was very nice of you to say like that I'm a humble person. Uh, and I appreciate that. And there's always more work to do, right? But that's not who I was. I was a very selfish person. I was very self-centered. I wanted to be humble. I wanted to be honest. I wanted to be kind. I wanted to be all of these things, these great virtues, right? But I didn't know how to be. And I didn't have the guidance around me to teach me how to be. So I just like, it was almost like I was just, you know, spinning around and around and around until I went crashing down. And once wasn't enough. It was like crashing off the bottom again and again and again. And it was like that was my adversity that I had to come through, and it wasn't no one's fault but my own.
Yeah.
Sometimes we are a victim, right? Sometimes
Yeah.
things happen to good people.
Yeah.
So there were some things that I had no control over, but there was a lot of stuff I had control over that I didn't know. And
Yes.
you talk about the mind, the development of the mind in psychology, right? It's not about being an insane person and looking to doctors to fix you. The entire basis of Eastern philosophy, of Buddhism, of Hinduism, of these great, you know, religions and the sage advice is a strong mind. It all starts and ends in the mind.
Yes.
And that's a tough journey. That's a tough
Yes.
one.
It's a tough one because if you're not wise to see and learn from, listen, you have to go through the pain, and that is not an easy thing to go through it. But now I know pretty much, and we have a lot to talk, but we're gonna try to do it in the next hour and a half. Now we know that's what I want to get to know a little bit about you, because you don't know me and I don't know you. We just had that instant that we know that person is a great person, a very interesting person. And you probably say, well, this guy is really nice and he's trying to do something good. Let me go ahead and help it to his show. Uh, but other than that, we not don't know each other from nothing. I mean, it's not you were way out there. I saw you once in my lifetime, and then we click, and now we're here talking. Uh,
Yeah.
so it was great when that you learn and that you change and you make the changes that you need to do. So now that I know a little more about you, so we're gonna go ahead now, just to get to know you more, and probably the viewers that are gonna come along in time to see this. Let me tell you that we are in 7 platforms, and 2 of them they are listen to us, which is TikTok. You're not in the camera, the only one, but they listen to you, and a Beagle. That's the 2 platforms that are just listen. And I do have a Rumble. I do have Instagram. Talking about that Instagram, I needed to put that we go live. Um, there we are. Okay. So we had to Twitch, we have Facebook, and we have the main channel, which is YouTube. Just to get that out there, and that way you know through the time you're gonna leave with this legacy. All the stuff we already talked is very powerful, and that before we go to get to know you a little bit background about you, what you do, your name. You want to say how old are you, or if you have family, kids, whatever you want to say, because this is just a simple conversation. But that way the people will know more about you, and I get to know you more. Um, but the main thing is the people. They can see the real person. They can see the real story. Um, do you read The Power of Now?
Sorry, I have devoured that book over and over and over again. Yeah,
I know,
I
I
spent
know,
a lot of
I,
time with that book.
I knew that you read that book, because through the conversation you say something. I say, he been reading that book. Power Now is a very powerful book. Um, okay, so let's go ahead and start with that. And if you can say, like I say, what you doing now,
Yeah,
where you live, your name, and all that little bit by you.
sure. No, absolutely. Yeah. So, yeah, thank you again for having me on the show, Luis Tom Governelli. That's how you pronounce my last name. And I live in New York, in a beautiful part of New York, about 2 hours north of the center of Manhattan. It's right on the Connecticut border, lots of rolling hills and beautiful foliage in the fall. A lot of people come up to this area to do hiking. We're right near the Appalachia Trail. And this is the area that I grew up in. I moved around a little bit, but I'd say for the better part of my 54 years of existence, so I'm 54, for the better part of that, I've lived up in this area, and I really do love it. I currently work at a company called Moody's. It's a data analytics research company that works with a lot of large companies around risk and compliance and finance and things of that nature, a lot of software. And I manage some of our larger accounts. And I love it. It's great people, great culture. Really just, every day I'm excited to try to go out there and help the people that I have an opportunity to work with, and also mentor and lead others in the company. And been with Moody's for just over 2 years after changing, from an entirely different industry and type of work that I was doing. So I'm learning a lot every day, let's say. I have 2 kids, both in college. One is graduating this year from SUNY Binghamton, and that's my daughter Juliet. She's 22, and my son Cole is at University of Buffalo, and he is a sophomore. And I'm divorced. I'm 6 years out of a divorce. We had a great marriage for 20 years, and nothing about that, no resentments or no regrets. It was a beautiful part of my life, but it was also a part of my life, with a beginning, a middle, and an end. And so, yeah, I'd say for the last 6 years, learning how to be, everything from when my kids were still in high school, and learning how to be a single dad, You know, learning how to do a lot of things that I used to do when I was in my 20s, like, you know, grocery shopping and cooking dinners and making kids school lunches and doing laundry, but working full time and trying to still have some fun. And, you know, how to relearn the whole dating world. You know, when I was dating, we didn't have apps, you know, and all of that. So, and I'm a notorious you know, bad at texting. You know, it's like, you know, typing out full text and all that, where people are like, you know, they don't want to hear your life story in a text message. So it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of challenges, trying to figure out how to be a, you know, like I said, a single dad. Yeah, bought a new house. Yeah, I rented for some years after divorce and was able to buy again last year, and been fixing this house up that I'm living in now. So I got lots of home improvement projects, and thank God for YouTube. I'm not, you know, I'm good at music and I'm good at, you know, data analytics and computer stuff. And I'm good at maybe making some, you know, food and this and that, but you know, a lot of the construction stuff that I've had to learn to improve this house, I'm learning on YouTube and getting a lot of advice. But I am a lifelong learner. I really have a penchant, you know, and a love for learning new things, and that's been really good because it gives me patience. And you know, there's lots of resources out there now to learn just about anything you want to learn.
Very well, very well. That can be very useful to like to learn things. My side, I was a hard head, and I still a hard head, and most of my failures because I never listened. I want to do my own, like Frank Sinatra used to say, "Down in my way," but no, it was not the best way, you know. But we learn in a hard way, like I was saying earlier. I like that thing that you were saying about your job and that you enjoy, you going with energy, you going very positive, that you like what you do, you like the company, but it was something there that it showed me that still show me more like greatness in you. But when you say to teach the ones that are coming after you and your job. And most of the people will not teach the other ones because they think that they're going to take over their job. But you know what? The world goes around. And therefore, I think what you give to the universe, you will get that back and then some more. So you leave a legacy for your company that you thought, well, this, you know, these young people that come into the company, very well done, very good, man, excellent.
Louis,
I,
that's really important what you just said, though, because that ties back to being somebody that I, you know, that I moved away from, that I didn't want to be, right? And what I mean by that is there was a time when I would covet and be secretive about my successes, and I wouldn't share them. And you know, it was a selfishness, and it was really what's behind all of that is fear. There's fear inside of you. There's a scarcity consciousness that stops you or gets in the way of you sharing your greatness. And you know, that was a lot of learning because I was the person that was filled with all those fears. And then through my development and through, you know, really looking at my fears, right, and looking at my belief systems, you know, being on that spiritual journey and path, you know, I was able to eventually grow into somebody that was able to share freely everything that I have, and with the hopes that another person not only would help them, they would take whatever I was giving them and make it even better and be able to then pay that forward and pay that forward and so on. And it's a beautiful thing because what happens is when you start to release your strengths and your qualities and you release them into the universe or into, you know, wherever, it frees you up internally to receive more. And that's the only way you can grow. Otherwise, you'll be stagnant. You know, like water that stops moving, it gets stagnant. And, you know,
and the happiness when you see that that person that is doing very well, it is a happiness you get inside of you that you can describe. It's like I call it divine happiness. It
Yeah.
is more valuable than money, than titles, than anything in the world. Because in the end of the day, when we go a better life, we're not taking anything. We only take what we makes us very deep happy. You can see a lot of singers that are there artists that they go make millions of dollars, and they they, they give it a testimony in some church or in different places. They say they were not happy. They feel empty because even though they can buy anything they want, but they were not happy inside. So
Yeah.
that's what they make that commitment to change, to make a better life for them. Once they're happy, it's nothing in the world that can compare that. Me, I'm broke. I don't have money. I bet I'm the happiest guy can be because I'm trying to leave a legacy. Right now, what you're doing is you leaving a legacy for your grandkids to see in the future. You know, they can come and see you part of your story, how you talk, and how you act, and they can see, they can learn. So it's not just to give, but you gain something too. You it's I mean, it's unbelievable feeling.
Yeah. You
And
own it.
yeah, exactly.
You own it. It can't be taken away from you. It's inherent. It comes from within, right? The
with
money can go, the materialism can go, the relationships can go. But what we're talking about is how do you cultivate happiness from within? And nobody
yes,
can take that from you, right?
yes, yes, power now.
Mm. Yeah, you
I,
know.
I kind of had that book. I'm very slow learning. I don't like to read. I'm not a person who read, but I'm a person that would see and I will learn, listen. Now I do because now I pay attention because I learned through life that I need to keep learning, to keep getting forward. And so I'm very so when I go see a movie and that movie, if I like it, like Dune, for example, the new movie, Dune Part Two. I like it so much that movie, but to me to capture the whole entire movie, I'm probably gonna go see it 10 times. I'm at the eighth time right now because I think it's unbelievable movie. So if I want to learn from that, I had to go see it many times to be able to catch up to it almost 100%.
Well, and think about it this way now, okay? 5 years from now, you're going to have to go see it another 10 times because you're going to be a different person 5 years from now. You're going
Yes,
to have new experiences and you're going to also comprehend things differently.
yes.
And so it's like, to your point, the power of now, right? I read that book many, many, many times. I went to, Eckhart Tolle's workshops. I listened to his live talks. I read The New Earth. Like I devoured the body of his work, but over like a period of 20 years, because every time I went, and if I go back to it now, I'm going to get something entirely different from it, right? And
Yeah,
that's important is, we've got to realize that we're not the version of ourselves that we were,
yeah,
yesterday or 5 years ago or 10 years ago.
yes. Excellent, excellent. See, it's very important things, a little detail that I get, when you talk, and then I that was an amazing because it takes a great person to realize they need to give something to the universe. Most of the people they don't want to give nothing. They don't want to give even $5 or $10 or $20. Um, and then even though they know that is an um you asking something to do like me and other five people. We are go to my country and we give to the people really need something. And so you ask maybe a relative, people are there, and they look at you weird, like, man, this guy is gonna take my money. I mean, what $5 can I do to that person, or what $10 can I do to that person? But they don't want to give. They don't want to give to, uh, and they invent all kind of stories. So we are doing that, and it makes me so happy to give that to the world. To give, like I say, even that I'm broke and I manage, the God in the universe has shown me the way that I can survive. So I'm grateful for that. Put me angels and through my path. Like the person where I live, it's a great guy. He's from Belize. I'm from Honduras, and he's doing for me something that I never thought somebody would do for me. He's given that to the world through me, and through me, I give other people they really need it. You know what I mean? So that give pass up that things to the other people is a great, and
Yeah.
and that's what it goes. So now that we know a little bit about you, and now we getting pretty much, wow, it's almost 50 minutes. That is going fast, man. It's going too fast. They're going too fast because I think we can talk forever. But anyway, I'm gonna thank Natalia. Natalia, she's en Honduras. Natalia, póngale subtítulos para que pueda entender lo que estamos hablando. Está bien interesante la plática. I'm sorry, man. I needed to tell her that
Don't
they put a
apologize.
closed
It's
caption.
beautiful. Yeah, it's beautiful. You can do
And
that.
that way she understand. Yeah, she's happy to be here. And they're gonna come through little by little, and in a week or two, I probably will have anywhere from 100, 150 people watching already. That's the way, because it's not a show that shows craziness. It's something that means something, so people take it more easy. They want
Yeah,
to listen. They want to sit down and listen really good. Uh, so that's the way that works with my channel.
good.
So I know you say, I guess you start very young age with the music, and I would like to talk a little bit about the music. How you got inspired, you know, your parents that were musicians, or how you start with that thing to that talent.
Sure. Yeah. So my parents weren't musicians. My two older sisters at the time, one was, I think, 14, and the other one was 16. And I was 8 years old at the time. So the two older sisters started taking piano lessons, and my parents bought a piano. And at 8, they didn't offer them to me, but I would just tinker around on the piano and play a little bit. And at some point, they noticed that I really liked it, and I spent a lot of time on it. And then they offered for me to go to piano lessons. And then my sisters eventually quit while they were still pretty young, not long after they started. And I just stuck with it through middle school and high school, locally here where I live. And in hindsight, when I look back, we didn't have all of the stuff we have with the computers and the iPads and the video games. Like, we had a little bit of that, but I think for me, I found like that, my outlet, something that I could occupy myself with and spend time with, and sort of also, it became my own little world that I would spend, like, that I could shut the rest of the world out. And I think it's important to understand that when I think about the environment that I was brought up in, I always said over the years it was very difficult. It was very hard. There was a lot going on in the environment that I was brought up in, where I believe there was some trauma that I had dealt with. There was, a level of neglect as to, not being able to maybe provide me the oversight or guidance that I may have needed as a young boy. And I had a lot of feelings inside of me that I couldn't figure out, like that, sort of pain and hurt inside of me. And so music became that thing for me that was like I could put myself into, and it sort of soothed my soul. And then that led to eventually I went to a music school, like a performing arts high school. It's like a private school, and that was about 12, 1,300 miles away from my home. And I would fly there, and I started to study jazz and classical piano. And then after school, I went to music college for a little bit and continued my studies. And then after college, I went to work for the family business, but I was playing music professionally on the side. I was teaching lessons. I was in bands. I was, like a hired musician. And then in my late 20s, I had an opportunity. A friend of mine who was another bandmate. He ended up in a band that had a record deal with Universal Records, and they needed somebody to play keyboards on tour. They had a record come out, and they were on the radio and all this stuff. And so I had the opportunity for about 2 years. I was working with them, and I was on tour, and I got to see what it's like to be a rock star, right? We were playing for thousands of people every night, and with very famous bands, and it was a lot of fun. And I'm glad I did it, because I was able to leave that life eventually and not have anything inside of me that was sort of unfulfilled around music. I got to see it like at the highest level I could see it, and it was great. And I also learned, though, that it wasn't exactly what I wanted. It was a tough life on the road, right? And it's a life fueled with, we were talking about all those things outside of you that make you happy, or even when you think about drugs and alcohol, and relationships and money and all these things. It was like it was there, but it wasn't fulfilling me. I was still empty inside, and I was still hurt, and I still had pain and suffering that I had to figure out. And so I got to leave that behind in a good way, though, and then just start to do music for fun, over the years, and not make a profession out of it.
Because the professional way, it's harder. It is more like you say, and you will feel empty, like I was talking, little bit ago about, the people, the singers and people, they're on the road all the time. They were not happy. They had all the stuff, you know, most people wanted, but that things that would not make them happy at all.
Yeah.
And so they had to make some changes, which is something smart to do, because I remember, when I was struggling, when I was kind of young, and then, drinking and party and all that stuff. Thank God I didn't do no drugs, but alcohol was taking over, and you forget about everything. You think you're happy, but you're not happy. That is a very bad situation there. So that so you managed to have a rock band. So you were rock star.
Yeah,
Any
yeah. I say that kind of half joking, like a rock star, but I mean, it was a tour bus, and you're signing autographs, and we played in the
is
biggest show
right
we
there.
played. We warmed up
You
for Def Leppard for like 20,000 people, and like
wow.
it was there. But the band, the music, though, they weren't selling enough records, and so the record, classic story, right? The record company ends up pulling the deal, and then it goes nowhere. So,
No.
but was fine. I mean, I was a hired gun, right? I was hired to play a part. I wasn't part of the band really, but it was all good with me.
So what? How old you were in that time?
28, 29.
You were very young.
Don't remind me.
Well, that's the time I think. Yeah, it's about the time I stopped drinking. 27, 28. That's when I decided to make changes in my life. Not that it was a great change, that one of the best decision, but it's still a lot to learn. So the road ahead was up and down, hit ground, hit the wall, and everything. They they play a ping pong with me, live, because I was a hard headed guy.
Yeah.
Um, so that's what you did through the young life. Um, did did you say you had a business, or you run a business when you in 2008, was coming to take a lot of people's money away? You had a business at that time also?
So I had a business prior to 2008. I had a financial services business in Florida through like 2004, five, six,
That was a
and
few
then
years. That was a
yeah, and
few
then
years.
prior to that, I also I had other businesses. But by the time 2008 came around, um, what happened was same. We talked about that, right? I was living in Florida right before 2008, sort of when it started, when the whole market crashed, and the mortgage default crisis and all of that. And that was in 2007, and that's when I lost everything, the house. I had decided to move back to New York with my family, and so in 2008 specifically, I was working for a company. I was trying to get work. I couldn't. I just needed to provide for the family, and I joined a company in New York City, a management consulting firm, and was trying to get work. And then I went on a string of from job to job to job where I was getting laid off. It just wasn't working out for me. And yeah, it was difficult times, difficult times. I remember you talking about your situation in 2008.
Yes, we're gonna get to that, but I wanna know a little more about that time when everything was good, when you're at the financial field. Uh, what how exactly the financial part you were? How do they call the people, uh,
Financial advisors.
advisors
Yeah,
and all that stuff, or
yeah,
planner, or what part of that you were playing, like,
yeah.
or
So
investors?
so I had what happened was I moved down to Southwest Florida um, after I was a financial advisor up in New York, and I'll just say this right now: I never really took to being a financial advisor. It was like I was trying to, sometimes you're in a position, or you're doing something career wise, professionally, that it's not out of love, right? It's just more out of, this is what I can do, or this is where I am right now, and you try to make the best of it. And I was struggling with it. Like I was making, as they say, ends meet. I was putting food on the table. I was trying to build my business up in New York as a financial advisor, and I worked for a firm that had went out of business, a very big company actually. And the group of people I was with, they sort of created their own thing, and that's great. And they were successful with all of that. But it was a time for me where I had to rethink what I wanted to do, and I had an opportunity to move down to Southwest Florida and actually work with my brother-in-law, who owned a custom home building company, something entirely different. And I was
Yeah.
excited to get out of the financial advisory work. And um, and so working with family, we know that could be difficult. And so that didn't work out. But we were able to build my home down there, and as part of working with his company, and that was great. And what happened was I left his company and met a guy who was building a financial advisory firm of his own, and had decided to give it another shot down in Florida. And so I did that. For up until the time when, like we were talking about, when in 2007, 2008, when I decided to move back to New York. So that 3 years, I was doing, he was doing employee benefits. So where you sell health insurance to small companies, major medical insurance, all of that. And then I was doing the financial planning advisory with the owners of the businesses, like estate planning, investment management, and all of that stuff. And then, and I still struggled with it. I still struggled with sort of my passion for it. For whatever reason it was, it's just I really had a hard time, finding myself wanting to do that for many years to come. And the market crashed, as we know, and it was right on the beginning of 2008. And so it was another time though where I had a chance to rethink things. And my now ex wife, at the time, we decided to move back up to New York, and so and just start over, and that's what we did.
Oh, okay. Well, the reason that I asked you that financial part, and I'm interested to talk about very deep on it because um in business itself, because my feeling, I was good to do the job on my little company. I was open to work 24/7, and the people like that, and it was going to have a very little success. I managed to open like 4 offices. I was making about 150 a year, but it was hard uh, because I did not know how to manage that money. I didn't know how to manage my little business that I had. So I make a little investment that was not good. I invest money in music. That music is a very hard business, as you know. What I was doing is I was doing to help the kids in my country. At that time, um, that my country was going through very heavy on gangs, and there were young kids in my town. The one of them came in and say, "I hear you coming from U.S. and I was trying to see if you can help me to record one song." They were anxious to do so. So I saw a way that I can go ahead and stop for those kids to go to join the gangs, to take away from the gangs, to keep them busy. And that made me very happy, but I think it was not the smart decision to do, because I used to say to 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 the people, yes, I help you. So that after those two kids came in, there were like 11 or 12 more said that the two kids that were coming to trying to me to record music for them. So in 2 years, I spent about $150,000 that I would never see them again,
Mm.
and that was a bad way to do it. So I wasted that money on that. Not wasted because in my heart I was doing something that I love to do, help others, but it was not a smart way to do it.
Yeah.
And even though the family, some of the family, they were saying that I was crazy because I believe in their own kids. So basically, they were saying the kids that were not good, but I was crazy to try to help them. Is the way it works, and that's why I'm very interested in that part of financial. How you can let's say you get a person like me that don't want to listen, don't want to try to help himself, like we were talking in the beginning. How do you deal with a person like that? Or what signs they can tell you, okay, I can still trying to work with him, trying to save his money and invest his money, right? How,
Yeah.
how do a person that don't know, have no clue about investing, about saving, only want to do is spend it because I thought it was the money would never stop coming in, and I got hit with the chaos when I lost everything, and
Yeah.
I mean that was a million people, millions of people losing everything.
Yeah.
Uh, that was what they call a depression. How do you approach or trying to help somebody like that?
It's really it's a very simple answer. And maybe you're not going to like the answer.
No, it's okay. I've been hit
You,
worse. I've
you
been hit
can't.
worse.
You can't, and you don't. You can't. You can't help somebody that doesn't want to be helped. And it took me a lifetime. And it's not just money. It could be the psychology stuff we talked about. Somebody who's, not happy with their job, somebody who's not happy with their relationship, somebody who's having money issues. You can only help somebody who's open to being helped. And how do you become open to being helped, right? We've heard the old Zen, parable about an empty glass, right? If this is full to the top, right? Can I put any more liquid in this
No.
without spilling over? No, it has to be empty, right? And that's how people are. It's like if you want to help somebody, they've got to, let go of some of what they believe. They've got to let go of that stubbornness. And being in the financial advisory business, right? I had a business coaching, little business coaching company that I had where I was coaching clients on how to build their businesses and other things. And, for years, I would get frustrated over, same question, how do you help somebody who, is stubborn, or, they're opinionated, or they take, you give them advice, but they never take it. They never do anything with it. And, it was through some of the Buddhist stuff, if you look at some of the old, the quotes that Buddha had about, there's a few quotes, what he calls fools, like a fool. And the quotes that from what Buddha said is like you can't spend time with fools, because these are people that just they're not open to change. They don't want to change. So why would I spend time with them? And it's not that I'm not compassionate, right? I am compassionate about the people who struggle. My own family members are some of them, right? Where it's like I want to help them, but if they don't want to be helped, I better put my energy and focus somewhere else.
Yeah, I got you. It is. I really, I know what you're gonna told me, because, like you saying, but my intention is the people that listen this, they are on that position, like me in 2008, don't wanna be helped. They can see their own signs, and they can hear from somebody's mistake, which is me, that you telling me, like you say, you're not gonna like it. No, I've been hit worse. Believe me, I've
Yeah.
been humiliated. I'd be in a situation where's a family member insulted me or trying to tell me that I cannot stay on the play because I guess they're scared to me to steal something. I mean, that's very raw stuff. Because deep in your heart, you're not that kind of person, and they know, but they still not trusting you. Um, that's another $20 there, but it's different how we talk. But it's important to let know to the people they might have a little business and they're struggling right now, maybe because the economy is really bad, but they don't want to hear maybe the family member, maybe the neighbor, or maybe an employee that worked for them, and but they hear from you. That might be then click. That was the part that I tell you why I want to teach. Well, I don't want to teach, but through the stories to teach the people and the psychology ways, the easy, soften thing to click in their mind, and then come up with the advisory in financial, a person that's qualified for that. But not we're not given any advice right now. We just tell the story
Gotcha.
about me, about you, as and the other side of the fence, right? And sometimes we even, I might be the one qualified as an advisor, but sometimes I don't even take my the advice that I give. I don't want to take it myself. because I don't want to see it. Don't
Yeah.
want to help myself, because that happens too in different ways, you know.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well,
so
you know,
that
one of the things that comes to mind is that I had to, you know, once you open your mind and you really look at yourself as the problem, right? Meaning that you're not a victim. The world didn't do this to you, right? You have, it's all in your control to, you know, to make different choices and to create a different experience or a different outcome. Once that's the first step you've got to take in any change to change a situation, right? Is awareness that there is a problem and then own it. It's yours, right? You cannot push the blame on anyone else because you're disempowering yourself. You're taking away all of your power to change the situation at that point. So you have to own the problem and say, this is mine to fix. And either I'm going to fix it or I'm going to be stubborn and I'm going to not fix it. But either way, the outcome is mine. And then from there, you know, if you want to keep, you know, in the situation, if it's a business or something else, you really got to, you know, start to narrow your focus down and say, what are the things that I do really, really well? And then eliminate the rest, right? So
okay.
you start to look at, you know, like Warren Buffett, right? One of the greatest investors of all times. In fact, you know, the company I work for is Warren Buffett's 8th largest holding in his investment portfolio. He believes in, so, you know, we know a thing or two about Warren Buffett, but, you know, Warren Buffett said, you know, make a list of like the top things that, you know, you need to focus on in your business, right? What are they? The top things that you just really need to narrow focus on. And then, you know, look at the top 1, 2 or 3, and then eliminate the rest. So what he's saying is you've got to eliminate the distractions. If you own a business and it's struggling and you're having a hard time with the finances, right? Yes, you need to get good financial control. You need to understand budgeting. You need to start to educate yourself, talk to people, right? But the key thing is you got to start to narrow your focus. Focus on only a few things that you do really well, and you know, until you turn the situation around.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things I find that people really struggle with is they're running in too many different directions, you know, trying to do too many things. And you just got to do one thing really well, and then and manage the heck out of it.
But what about that? They say diversify your portfolio to invest money to make money. What that means, if we're gonna eliminate all different one because that's a distraction. How do you how do you for one point Warren Buffett said you got to diversify your investment, right? But at the same time, he'd say eliminate, like you say, you know, get that 3 first one because the other one they are distraction. How many there can be? How many? By the way, I hear somebody the other day, about 3 days ago, about talking about Warren Buffett and why she's thinking is the greatest investor of all times, exponential compose interest, something like that. But
Compound.
anyway,
Yeah. Yeah.
compound,
Yeah.
compound, yeah. And as he said, it might be a person. He might be is not making any money like a other investor there, but he has like a 70 years get a compound interest.
Yeah.
So he overruns the ones that making big money right now.
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
can't beat that guy. She say
No.
cannot beat it because he has zillions of years ahead of you. So how you
Yeah.
gonna overcome that? And she was right. That makes sense. So
Yeah.
in that time, how you uh, uh will diversify different areas where you can make money. You can own companies out there because when you buy a share, you hold you own that company. You own that company. Okay. So,
Yeah.
but how you can just take 3 out of them or diversify different ways of how that can be.
Yeah, so what I was talking about was more so what you're focusing on, you're putting your time into. Like it's like for somebody who owns their own company and is struggling maybe, right? I was talking about just getting more focused on your, like you've got a list of 20 things you need to do, right? Just focus on the top 3 that's going to have the biggest impact on turning the ship around, turning your company around, right? But where you're talking about is actually investing, right? Investment portfolios and things of that nature. And and in a lot of ways it's the same thing, right? It's like if you've got, if you only have $1,000 to invest, you're not going to be able to achieve a whole lot of diversification, right? It doesn't make sense to go out and start buying individual stocks, right? Because you're not going to be able to really do much with $1,000. So, what they might say, the experts is, buy an ETF like the Vanguard 500, the S&P 500, right? And this is where, you have professional management teams that are managing this mutual fund, and they're the ones that are able to buy all those different stocks and diversify. And all you're doing is buying as many shares as you can of that one mutual fund, right? So you're actually, with $1,000, you're getting access to, hundreds and hundreds of great stocks, but you're not buying those stocks directly, right? So I mean, this is, but again, right, this is really, I think what's more important is the theme of doing the most you can with what you have and being very clear about that. If you got $1,000 to invest, again, you're not going to be able to go invest a little bit in real estate and a little bit, I'm going to buy a few stocks, at these companies, and then I'm going to invest some money in crypto. It's like you only have $1,000. So, make it the best investment you can for your $1,000, but don't spread it too thin, right? You want to stay focused.
I like that when you talk about crypto, and I'm gonna tell you why. I tell you, I'm a hard head guy, and this is a true story, man. Of my heart, it's I tell people, and the people look me like, he's pulling my leg. 2008, in October, 3 months before Bitcoin was going live. 2008, that was the beginning of my company to going down, but not hit bottom to 2010. So it was the beginning to the end of my little business. But it could have been the beginning for the greatest success for me. But because I thought I knew everything, I didn't have no the right advice. And back in the days, when somebody hear about Bitcoin, everybody was scared because they knew they were gonna take their money. So somebody told me about it, and it was gonna open on January 1st at 9 cents a coin. 9 cents per coin.
Wow.
Listen, I've been sitting for the last 13 years regretting, regretting big time. Because in those days, I could buy 5,000 if I want to, because I still have some money. It's still the company still going. But let's say don't buy 5,000. Let's say buy 1,000. That would give me 100,000 Bitcoin at 9 cents. But let's say that was too much, right? Who could have who could want to buy that many Bitcoin, that something that you don't know, spend $1,000 like that? Let's say I would have bought only $100. That would have made me buy 1,000 Bitcoin. Right now it's worth around $70,000. You multiply 1,000, 1,000 up for 70,000. That's a whole lot of money. And that was because I thought I knew everything. I didn't know nothing. But like many people did not believe in that kind of thing because that was a new thing coming up. But even though, as today, probably you don't believe in crypto because you are old style investment, right? Or you like crypto?
No, here's where I sit with this. See, I left the financial advisory business because I didn't like it. I wasn't passionate about it, and I also got very real with myself about it. And this is really important. What I mean by getting real with yourself is stop bullshitting yourself and admit what you're good at and what you suck at.
Yeah.
I sucked as a financial advisor. I sucked. I was no good. I didn't even like to manage. I didn't want to even balance my own checkbook. And I'm going to tell you how to invest $1 million, right? So I got very real with myself. I said, not only do I not like this, I'm not interested in it, but I also suck at it because of that, not because I can't be good at it, right? And so when it comes to stuff like investments, I just don't have the interest to do the research, because if you're going to put your money into something, right, you're going to research it as much as you can. And then with the information you have, you're going to make your best decision, right? So even Luis, I'll even challenge you. I'll say, maybe even if you weren't a Mr. Know-it-all back then, maybe you did your research, maybe you were open to taking advice, you still may not have pulled the trigger on the crypto. You don't know that for sure, right? Because we can never go back and say, here's what I would have done. So I never look back at all of the options that I had. Like in 1999, when the .com, or all the .coms, right? It's like, yeah, I could have went in and bought right after that some of the key companies, right? We all have that ability to look back and say, oh, if I would have played that lottery ticket, I would have won, Powerball, right? If I would have bet this much on the Super Bowl, knowing who won, nobody has a crystal ball. So, I think for me, where I'm at now, and to your point, time is your best asset. Time is your greatest asset, right? If you just I tell my kids, just take a little money and put it in like a very simple investment and don't touch it. That's going to grow 100 times more than anything I can do at this point. But the key thing for me is that I realize if I want to get good at investing, you have to make it one of your core interests, one of your key interests. You have to make it a priority. And you can't shortcut the research. You can't shortcut, the opportunities. I've got people around me that I know are real estate investors, right? At some point when I'm interested in investing in real estate, these are people I trust and they're successful in it. I'm going to talk to them. I'm going to read about it. I'm going to talk to them more. I'm going to read about it more. I'm going to go online and I'm going to try to get as much information as I can before I make a final decision as to what to do. But I'm not, one thing I've learned is I'm not going to just be impulsive and emotional and just feel like I'm running out of time. Let me throw my money at something. That's where I've lost a lot of money over the years.
That's what I've been doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm almost 60 and I'm running out of time. I need to make some money before I hit the 65, because I don't have no pension. Only gonna have a Social Security. So that is gonna give me what? With the cost of living now, it's not gonna be nothing. I'm still gonna be working at 80 years old because I'm gonna need to keep up with the thing. So I try. Well, I'm a very risky person. I like to risk. I love to risk, even though that I think investments in Wall Street and all this thing is all manipulation. To me, it's been working in the people's brain. That thing is gonna go higher, higher, higher. Put in more money. It's gonna go big. You're gonna make $1 million. You're gonna do it. Yes, yes. That is an excitement that work in your mind, and you follow through. And then guess what? The big guys making the big money.
Yeah.
So I think it's a very well, I guess a lot of things. It's a lot of manipulation. Even the government, government likes to control everything. So that's manipulate the people, and
that old, I don't know if you ever heard the old Rockefeller story. John D. Rockefeller, he said when, I believe it was John D. Rockefeller.
One of the richest men.
He said when when the shoe shine boy, right? Because they go into, you know, Manhattan and you sit at the bench and the shoe shine, right? Kids. He said, when your shoe shine boy is giving you a stock tip, he said, that's when you need to get out of the market. And that's what he did. Is like when he realized his shoe shine boy was giving him stock tips, like what stocks to buy, because the market was going up, 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 up. And he's like, that's when he knew it was going to crash. And so he pulled all his money out of the market at that point. And it's
How did he become
when
richest man?
everybody's talking about it, the next great idea, right, was real estate to buy this and that. Remember 2008, right before the crash? It was like everybody's buying properties, right? Everybody now became a real estate, developer. Everybody's flipping properties. That's when you need to get out. It's too late.
I was one of them. I bought a 5 property and I lost all of them.
Me too. Me too.
I lost all of them. Yeah. Even together with the businesses, with the offices and stuff. It's very important to me. But like I said before, that the psychology is a game that plays a big role on manipulate people that don't have no background or don't have no knowledge, or they're easy to get. I remember I bought a coin they call it Shiba. My nephew bought over there for me in Honduras, and that at some point $300 made it $16,000. And wow. Guess what happened? With that emotions, they say, "Oh, this is gonna go big. This is gonna go to the moon. It's going to the moon." But they were talking about Dogecoin. Elon Musk was playing with the people's mind, saying that not at the right things at the show as Saturday Night Live, when he say there that everybody was expecting that he talking about Dogecoin really good. So that coin was going boom, 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 boom. And everybody was saying, going to the moon, going to the moon. So because we are so ambitious, we want the easy money. So what happens, everybody following to that. And when the guy gets out there, he said, well, the coin's a joke. But he say, but I think it's a good coin. He didn't say nothing great about the coin. So what happened? Everybody followed. Boom. Same thing with Shiba. They were talking about at the same time. It's going to the moon. So you thinking, you see your money grow like 10,000 %. And you say, wow, I guess these people are right. They know what they're talking about because they know what they're doing. So what happened? The thing went down to the drain again. I mean, the coins are still there, but they don't have no value because I should have sold it, do like a Rockefeller. You know what I mean? When everybody was talking going to the moon, sell it.
Yeah.
Because that's more like it's the end that's coming down.
Yeah.
So now I learned. I lost the opportunity with Bitcoin. That was a big opportunity. But like you said, we don't have no crystal ball. Who could have known? But believe me, it hurts. It hurts to know that you could have bought a few hundreds with a very little money, and then what it's worth it now, you could be a multimillionaire guy, right?
Yeah.
So that kind of hurt because that's not like going to casino or going to we were talking there, man. I forgot about it, but anyway, or go to the lottery.
Oh, lottery, yeah.
This is at least you're buying something, you don't see it, but you know that it's gonna be there anyway, even if it goes down to 1 cent.
Well, it's a missed. What it is, it's a missed opportunity. That's what it is.
Just like Amazon, just like Google. I saw a guy that has a big house here in Bonita. I mean, huge mansion. It was a job that I helped somebody. This guy pulled a handful of money, hundreds. And I said, man, that guy has a lot of money. Yeah, he's a good client. He's one of the first investors for Google.
Yeah.
I should not say that, but I mean nobody know who that is anyway. And this guy is getting $40 million every month.
Wow.
Every month.
Yeah.
Every month. That's the scary stuff. You know, but he didn't miss the opportunity. He had the money, he put it in, he didn't think about it. So he was smart. He was smart. Yeah. But anyway, but it is right after psychology that financial plays a big role for me. Uh, right now, you say you do an investment right now, financial advisor or just investment, or you do businesses.
So the work that I do with Moody's has we do no investment advice, nothing like that.
Oh,
With Moody's, you know, we essentially sell software, data analytics, research to investment companies, to insurance companies, and they use all of our systems and all of that research and data to assess the risks that they take. Right. So I'm working with, say, big investment companies that may be using our software platform to make their own investments, right? But we don't do anything with financial advice or investment advice or anything like that. And my own, like, I've realized again that I just don't have the interest and the time and energy to put into my own investment portfolio that I would like. So I do very simple things, and that's it. I just set it and forget it, and I don't look at it. I'm not really looking for the next big thing. And my idea, also around that, it's like, somebody who wants to prosper, say, from something like a Bitcoin or being one of the first people to get into Google, it's you're not going to be able to do that unless you're sort of making that a big part of your entire strategy. Meaning, for every Bitcoin or Google that really hits it for you, right? That makes it, you've got to probably have 10 to 20, 30, 40 other ones that didn't, because it's part of what you're doing. It's part of your strategy. Good luck if you just want to get lucky and throw some money at the next thing. It ain't going to work that way. Mm-hmm.
That is the key right there. That is the key right there.
Yeah.
You had to go through the pain to be able to find that next Google investment or next Bitcoin. It's not that you're going to come up and find the first Bitcoin in one first try.
No.
If you fail, more likely you're closer to find the next big deal.
Yeah.
That is worth it, that financial stuff that we'll be talking about right now.
That's that's diversifying as well, in the sense that you've got your emergency savings socked away. You've got your long-term savings, like for retirement or other things, college education for your kids, whatever. That's a savings program socked away. You've got, your midterm investments for buying maybe a vacation property down the road or starting a business down the road. That's set up. Now you've got this little bit of money that you want to go for the big stuff, right? The next Bitcoin, the next Google. But let's say you've got $10,000. You're not going to put all 10 into just one idea. You're going to put it into $1,000 into 10 different ideas and hope one of them hits. That's how those things happen, right?
Yeah.
So, and you're going to do it systematically. You're going to do it over and over again.
What about we take a little break, because I have a little request for you.
Okay.
Natalia from Honduras. She's a very good friend of mine, and we do that. We do that part that I was telling, that we help people that needs help over there. She's one of the person we execute the project that we want to go look into it, and the project that we want to do. Like, we go into living facility, and she's in one city that she's one of that can do the execution for that. But she said, because she knew that, I guess she has subtitles. I guess she knew that you play music and all that stuff, and she put it in English. May he delight us with that melody, Adeline.
Ah, that's nice. Yeah, yeah, I could play. I could play something. I could play a song that I wrote on guitar.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
let's close with that in the end. But do you know Adeline? I don't know why she likes it. I'm gonna ask her
Oh,
later.
Adeline. Is that a song?
I guess melody. She said melody Adeline. Adeline.
Let me see. I mean, it's not one that I've learned, but if
Oh,
it's
okay, okay.
easy, Adeline,
Yeah.
Adeline. Let me see. Is that by I don't know, John Robert?
It gotta be, yeah. Yeah, it gotta be that one.
Let me see.
Because it's in English, but now, so you haven't practiced, you don't know. Uh,
Yeah,
so
I don't. Yeah, I don't know the song, so I wouldn't have learned
we do
it.
the in the end we do a little bit of your song that you write you
Yeah, I
did.
could play a song that I wrote. Yeah,
Okay,
a
great.
little bit. Yeah,
Okay, that was because she requested there. Yeah,
I appreciate that though.
well,
Thank you, Natalia. Yeah.
they're paying attention. My viewers, because they cannot be in one time watching, so that's what they're watching in different times. But that's how they do. They come and listen. They like it. They keep listen. So she's been from the beginning. Uh, Jesus Nájera, Lydia Nájera. There's people they always in the. That's what I tell her to put subtitles, and that way they can read and understand what we talking about. It's fascinating. I think we can talk about financials in different ways. Um, and I think we're gonna be sure. So we're not gonna talk about any struggle at all because I still wanna get in deep into that financial part because I like I failed because I mismanaged my money. I could have I had a 400 save up for they call it buff account build up fund just in case anything was going wrong with the business and they can cover from that point the insurance company. And I had about 7 years build up like people owe me $350,000, and all that went to nothing
Mm,
and the chaos. And that is property that put a down payment, cars, all these things that come along with the money at the bank, and part was mismanaged because like I told you, I started doing that music thing in Honduras. It was a great thing with the heart, but was not the smartest thing. And money, you need to control it with this, not
yeah.
with this, because that's when you lose. Uh, so I think we can talk forever on that part of financials. But like I said, this is not any sort of advice to anybody to follow what we say here. Just to keeping that on the ears of the people, and that way they don't think you know they're gonna do exactly what we say here. But anyway, my that you went to college for specialize in advisor, financial advisor.
So my first year in college, I studied music primarily,
Okay.
um, but then I took a year off, and during that year, I had gotten my insurance broker's license because that was my family's business. And when I did go back to college, I finished with a business degree, and it was a general business administration degree. And I
Okay.
don't really like, in hindsight, there was nothing about it that really prepared me for the world. It was really just a piece of paper in my mind. Um, you know, So I can't say that my college years was spent like learning any special sort of knowledge or, you know, curriculum that helped me in the business world. Um, After that, though, I had gotten into the family business and just started to learn how to do sales, selling insurance policies. And, you know, my dad had, you know, started this family insurance business in 1968. And so I was stepping in right out of college. And then part time, I was, like I said, teaching music lessons and playing in bands, and you know, going down, we were playing in various bars throughout New York City, and you know, just having fun working in my 20s and playing music, and yeah, just having a good time with it.
Nothing like it. Nothing like it. Having fun.
It was good. Yeah, it was good, you know. A little crazy, you know. I didn't, yeah, I wasn't prepared for life though the way that I've prepared my kids for life. Like when my kids were, you know, as early as I can remember, I was talking to them about the importance of values, the importance about life lessons. You know, I was working with them through failures they had and trying to be there for them, like giving. I was emotionally available. I was trying to teach them about their emotions, about what was going on inside of them, how to use their mind more effectively. You know, I taught my kids a lot from my own mistakes and my own failures and things that I didn't even know myself until I was in my 30s, right? When I stopped partying and I started to realize my life was not where I wanted it to be. And, you know, here it is. My daughter's graduating college this year, and she's enrolled for a PhD program at another university, you know, to study school psychology and all of that. And my son is studying nutritional sciences at Buffalo, and they just got really good head on their shoulders. And you know, I think back to when I was their age, and I was like, I was a train wreck.
I was almost right. I was right there too, man. You're not the only one. But you're younger than me, though. I'm kind of uh,
A
five
little
years,
bit, just a
5 years
little
older,
bit.
5 years older. And but that's what we come to that point. You see, without even know you, without even talking about this at any point in our life. We never did really talking. This is the longest that we've been talking, and then we almost come into 1 hour and 45 minutes, and we haven't even get started in that part of failuring, which is as another couple hours. But we're not gonna go to that. We're gonna leave that alone. Maybe in a year from now, we can sit down and talk a little more about it and what can be updated from the financial world and psychology part, because I see that you say that your daughter is going for that psychology major or minor.
She's a psychology major, and
Major.
now, yeah, going for a PhD in school psychology. Yeah.
Very well. And that's because I do believe strongly, strongly. At that point, when I lost everything and I separated from my ex, which I never want to do it, it was the love of my life, and I didn't want to give it up. But I saw the relation was not going nowhere. Uh, so that point, I said, I got it. I got to go. So I went to sleep 2 nights on my minivan on the street. Um, when that hit that time, and I saw myself there, that's where the process of depression came in. At that moment, it kind of broke me in little pieces, but I still holding up a little bit. Holding up, I say a little bit because I wanted the semi to hit me head on. So basically, I want to die because I couldn't take it. When you get used to have $5,000, $10,000 in your pocket, and another 100 in your bank, and then another few a few 100,000 in the savings, and when you said you don't have no even for a soda, that becomes a big problem. That becomes a huge, and basically you are sleeping on the street, and you had nobody that talked.
Mm.
And the third day, that I was gonna sleep in the on the street. It was a lady that I helped in that time, my good days, treated her son, and for some reason we encountered, and then she said to me, "Please, how you doing?" Blah blah blah. So I told my story, my sad story, and then she said, "Well, you're not sleeping in the street tonight. You go to my home. Don't worry about my husband. I'm gonna talk to him, and then he will go ahead and say yes. You help my kids when the most they need it. I'm not gonna leave you in the street one more night." And he said, "You got food, you got roof in your head, and whenever you get to work and everything, you can bring me money or whatever you want to do. I don't care. She said, I do this to help you, not to make money out of you." And that's one of the angels I found at that time. But and there was another person during that process, almost in the end of 2011. This lady saw me. I was coming in a little store, and she was going in, and then she saw me, and then she said, "Luis, what happened to you?" You know, you ego, of course, tell her that, "Hey, no, nothing. Man. What? Why?" She said, "No, Luis, you don't look the same person that I met back in the days. You are different. You look destroyed. You look bad." I said, "Whoa." So she only recommend one thing and one thing only that made me change to be a happy man. That I was getting happy, but it took me 9 years up. No, yeah, about 9 years or 8 years when the COVID came to realize myself. Don't chase money anymore. Be more happy the way you are. The money will come to you because I saw myself crying every night, crying every night because I thought I was dying, because I was not going to wake up. I was going to close my eyes and I would say for me, I was crying every single day for 14 days. I felt so weak. I didn't have no more power, nothing. I lost all the hope. That was terrifying. So I realized that I need to enjoy my life to the fullest and do what I love to do. And that is be able to help other people through another friends together to help these people. When I see that happen, my heart feels something that is nothing can describe the happiness that I have. And I don't have no money. I don't have anything. I have even be able to go see my family because you know, uh, Ian came in, was no work for 2 years. We're still not making money, but I still happy though. And I say I surprised myself on that. But at that moment, that lady told me in 2000, at the end of 2011, Luis, when you get up, you you put first food on it, put the second food, but when you put it second, you go down to your knees and pray. When you pray, you talk to God from your heart. That's all you got to do every morning. My life's changed from that moment. It changed for better. So that's when I started coming out of that depression slowly. Took a while. Took about a year to get out of it. And so psychology, I think if I wouldn't know have any minor or major in psychology, I probably would have been more prepared for situations like that because I was close to kill myself because I wished to be dead that time. I was very close to make that decision. I think if another problem would have come to me, I probably, but that was bottom, right? That was bottom. I couldn't go no lower than that. Um, but I was saved by the grace of God.
Hmm.
I was saved by that, and that is why it's very important to me to do a job on this channel, and that is why I'm passionate about it, and that's why I convinced you, because you saw the passion that I had it, that I was motivated to do this type of thing to help people, and because you're a man to like to help people, that's what we click,
Mm,
and the mission. The other thing we need is the other end, that somebody in the world get this information
yeah.
and get saved. Whatever we say here that makes his mind to click, right?
Yeah.
What happened before 2008? I thought I knew everything. Why? Because mentally I was not prepared to see 1,000, $10,000, $25,000 in my hands. I didn't know what to do with that money. I didn't know what to do, and I make a lot of mistakes because my mind was not as strong to control the money. Now money control me, and that's a lot of the mistakes. And that's where your information that you're giving us over here, and that this little, well, it's a lot of time because oh my God, we already 2 hours. Jeez. Well, I think we're gonna leave the rest to the world to digest this word. If you can give us a little song there with your guitar, I do appreciate that, and then we go to close because I had to cut it because we already in 2 hours.
No, absolutely. The time went very fast, and no, thanks for sharing that. Thanks for sharing your story, Luis. It's um, yeah. Let's talk again. I had a lot of time, a lot of years feeling the same way, feeling like I didn't want to live anymore, and and it's sort of like while psychology may have helped me, I don't know, right? I didn't learn all that stuff when I was younger. What I do know is that I really did want to live, and for whatever reason, what I went through forced me to look at things differently and to do the work that's the hardest work in the world to do, which is the work on yourself, on your soul. And then like you said, through the grace of God, right, some things can change, and so it's good, it's powerful, and I appreciate it.
Powerful,
Yeah.
powerful, just like a power now.
Power of now, yeah. I mean, think about Eckhart Tolle, right? He was a student at Cambridge University. He was studying, theology. He was studying psychology. He had all of the knowledge, the information, but he was still on the verge of killing himself, and he
But
didn't want to live anymore.
exactly in the beginning of the book, he say, I was struggling. I was going through a lot of stuff, and the happiness is within you, right?
Yeah.
Don't look at outside; it's in you. So you have to
And it
find
had
it.
to, he had to go through whatever he had to go through for that to shine through and to shine forth. And I mean, it's a beautiful story, right? Um,
I have a gentleman that he has. Listen to this name. His name is John Becker. You know who John Becker is, right?
John
Uh,
Becker.
yeah, John Becker is Ted Donson. No, it's the guy that did Cheers and
Oh,
went to
Ted. Yeah, Ted
the,
Danson.
the doctor in Chicago, John Becker. When I hear his name, I said, "Man, you you serious?" We're gonna talk about that book a lot. We're gonna
That's awesome.
maybe another month. I'm gonna get it together with him and talk about that book. Yeah,
Yeah, that's great. I mean, all of Eckhart's books are great.
yes,
So I'll just play, a little. I'll play a little part of this song that
yes,
I
yes. Just a little part.
and it's funny. I started to write this when after I had gotten divorced, and I was doing this dating game, like just figuring out dating, and it was like, and I have like this need for validation in me, the need for approval, do you like me? No, you don't like me. I had low self-worth. So this was where that song came from.
Okay.
I don't know if you could the audio is on it.
No, the audio is perfect. I'm listening over here.
You say it's just begun. I'm so down for you. Say it's just for fun. But I wanna be more to you. Put a spell on me. Now I'm falling in love. Say this can't be. 'Cause friends don't fall in love. You see yourself with me. Do you see yourself kissing me? Yeah. Do you lie awake at night thinking of me? Yeah. Are you into me like I'm into you? Does your heart beat for me like mine beats for you? Am I the one you need when you're feeling blue? Are you gonna stay with me so I can make love to you?
Excellent. Fantastic, man. Thank you for sharing that part of you. You made it your own hand. Very good.
Thank you.
Another person say a comment about at the line is oh no, that was her. Well, I thought that was Miller, but not. Other line is creation of Richard Clayderman.
Who?
Richard Clayderman.
I'll have to look that up for next time. Next time I'll make sure we play that.
At least a little bit. Well,
yeah, absolutely.
My man, I knew that time was going to be short, and that we passed the 2 hour already. I pray that everything goes very well for you. You deserve it. You're a great human being. I was delighted when you were whatever we talk over here. I know we were kind of a little bit here, a little bit there, but we put it together. So I'm gonna go see back this conversation to learn a lot from, because that's what happened for me. I got a lesson, and then you say, I think about 5 or 16 that clicked my mind, so I need to hear it many times again. Um, Thanks to you kids that allowed me to have you here. Now you got to go cook lunch, or
for myself actually, and I've got my dog who's ready to bite me if I don't take him for a walk.
Oh, okay. You got to go do it.
Thank you so much, Luis, and thank you to all your audience and the people who dial into this this program. It's just a pleasure for me to be here, and I can't thank you enough for asking me to partake in this great service and mission oriented work you're doing. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. God bless you, and we will meet again, hopefully in anywhere from 9 in a year. I give
Absolutely.
a little chance to get some more information there. Thank you very much. I'm gonna go ahead and get you off the screen, and then you can hang up there.
I'm ready.
But the last thing, please, you and whatever person you want to tell about to follow me, to register on YouTube, please. If you can do it, that's fantastic. I appreciate it, and thank you for the opportunity. And We'll see you soon.
Thanks again. Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye. Oh my God, that was a great, delighting day of conversation with a great person. Very humble, very knowledgeable. He learned a lot through pain and through mistakes and to all those things. He loves music. We didn't talk really much about music, but he did a little rundown about it. And then he made it all the way out there. They were opening for big stars and they were going tour. They were making their own music too. So therefore, um, it was a great. That financial part I enjoy it a lot because part of my feeling in the business, it was making a lot of mistakes in the financial decisions. I thank you very much for being here. I'm gonna take a few words in Spanish, and we go from there. All right. Thank you very much. I will see you. Oh, I don't have anybody for next week. We probably gonna go to the ball game tomorrow, and that we do the Mambas King. We can I'd say a couple of things right now in Spanish, and thank you for listening. And I hope more people listen to this story, this real story, real life stories. And I give a little bit about my story. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. I need to take a little bit of water. Bueno, señores, gracias por estar aquí. Muy buena conversación. Hablamos un poco de la historia de él. Hablamos un poquito de historia mía. Aparte, le digo, ponga subtítulos para que escuche. Hablé algo de pues, la historia mía, la historia de él, de qué, cuánto psicología, finanzas, sociología, cuánto impacto puede tener en una persona para hacerlo mentalmente más fuerte, conocedor de las finanzas y saber cómo trabajar en equipo o cómo trabajar con personas, donde haya muchas personas. Yeah. Y tiene excelente voz. Él hacía tour. Yeah. Oh, ya está ahí. Mire que yo mire un Miller Murcia, pero no sé si usted, porque ahí me salió una foto de otra persona. ¿Cómo sale ahí, Miller? Ya cantó Natalia. Tiene buena voz. Dele para atrás al video para que lo escuche. Solo cantó como un poquito más de la mitad de una canción que él escribió. Que él escribió en esos tiempos que él pasó algunas dificultades en la vida. Pues entonces él cantó una. Qué bueno. La verdad que fue una bonita conversación y ojalá que pues la gente pueda verlo. La gente pueda verlo, escucharlo. Hablamos muy buenas cosas, situaciones de la vida y cómo puede ayudarse una persona mentalmente y financieramente para que pueda ser exitoso. Ahí dijo unas 5 cosas que fueron espectaculares. Yo le hice reseña de eso. Bueno, señores, ya saben que tenemos en San Pedro Sula. En San Pedro Sula tenemos a la maestra, a la profesional, una tremenda ser humano, a Natalia Zelaya, pero no Zelaya de los que ya ustedes saben, ella es diferente. Ella tiene arte y eventos Nati. Aquel que necesita hacer una fiestecita ahí que tenga un evento en en San Pedro Sula o en los alrededores o en cualquier parte de Honduras, ella está ahí para atenderlo. Puede buscarle su página de Facebook, Artes y Eventos Nati. Búsquelo porque va a quedar satisfecho. Búsquela. Y aquel que está fuera del país, que quiere hacerle a un hijo, a un sobrino, a una mamá, a un padre, le quiere hacer una fiestecita de sorpresa o quiere hacer una fiesta, que se pongan de acuerdo con ella, búsquela ahí. Y yo tengo unas par de videos donde sale el número de teléfono de ella para que busquen los videos que tengo de arte y eventos Nati. No se va a quedar mal. Ahí va a quedar súper contento. Le hace su fiestecita, le dice, usted solo le dice cómo lo quiere y si lo tiene en bolle o tiene sin límite para que ella le diga todos los costos de eso, le hace todas las cosas que necesita. Ella le prepara desde cero hasta terminarse la fiesta. Así que ya saben, búsquenla a ella en su página de Facebook, Art y Eventos Nati. Y ahí puede buscar en mi video el número de teléfono de ella también. Bueno, también se lo puedo dar aquí. Se lo vamos a dar. El número de teléfono de ella es 504-9993-8235. Ella está en San Pedro. 504-9993-8235. Estar ahí a las órdenes. Mañana vamos a estar en el juego de pelota con los Mambas. Los Mambas ganaron. Nos sentimos contentos, ganaron su primer juego. Ya no están en último lugar. Ya no están en último lugar. Ya están en penúltimo. Son unos campeones estos muchachos. ¿Cómo quiero que ellos lleguen hasta lo más alto? Eso es definitivamente lo que buscamos, ¿verdad? Es importante desearle a los nuestros y a todo el mundo, desearle lo mejor. Y ahí estaremos pues agradeciéndole a los patrocinadores durante el juego. Ya pronto yo voy a dirigir desde aquí el juego. Ya no va a tener que ir al campo porque se está dando que nos están violando los derechos del autor. Tal vez pues se escucha ya penito una canción, pero como YouTube es bien delicado en esas partes, pues ni modo que nos queda a nosotros. No nos queda más nada. Voy a decir, duermo un poquito ahorita. Estoy cansado. La verdad que sí. Estoy cansadito. Es parte del asunto, jóvenes. Pero bueno, vamos a leer los últimos mensajes que nos pusieron. No. Ponerme los anteojos para verlo bien. ¿Qué le pareció? Gracias a los que están en TikTok. Thank you, the ones in TikTok, and thank you the ones that were at Beagle. We had a great conversation with Tom, and we're gonna have to do it because basically we were like in a half. We're gonna come back and talk a little more about investing or about a financial advisor on the business part. What they look at. I want to ask him about to get a plan there, see how he will find me that. That would be fantastic. Thank you for like I said, being here, Beagle and TikTok. Thank you for those likes. I think it was a great conversation. I think it was like 5 things that very remarkable that I think I can learn. I need to listen that again, and that way I can do that. You know, the ones there in TikTok or or Vigo, they can look it up on the profile en la parte de arriba, a la izquierda en TikTok. Ahí pueden encontrar, le dan al perfil y ahí en el perfil pueden mirar el canal que tengo de YouTube. Agradecería grandemente que se suscribieran, que le den like, que comenten. Y gracias a los 8,000 que tenemos aquí. Pronto estamos madurando una idea. Estaban tratando de ir a El Salvador, pero estamos teniendo problemas para poder encontrar habilidades de cuartos y otras cosas. Los buses son muy caros para ir allá. Pues fíjese que como se llama, estaba viendo un video de Amapala y en Amapala hay lugares bonitos, una belleza, belleza, belleza. Unas casas que rentan, pero con con unos lujos, pero espectaculares, con piscina, una casa privada para la gente que lleva uno. La casa cae en 16, pero creo que tiene otras casitas ahí al lado. Pues estamos tratando con Natalia de madurar esa idea de ir a Mapala. Así que cualquier cosa ahí vamos a estar avisando. Voy a tratar esta semana de hablar con varias personas, con las personas de allá, para ver si se puede hacer reservación para un tiempo y qué es lo que se necesita. Porque creo que como se llama, vale la pena ir allí. Está de lujo ahí. La verdad que sí. Y claro, el viaje puede ser muy caro para Salvador porque imagínense, comida, dormida y el pasaje del bus, que es lo más caro, creo, pues, pues sale muy, muy caro. Se puede hacer, se puede tratar de hacer, pero más adelante. Creo que Mapal está un poquito más barato. La diferencia es que está de lujo. Y es lejos también, que está de lujo ahí. Está de lujo. Conseguiremos fotos para poner ahí y que la gente mire, para ver qué día se puede arrancar para allá una excursión, unos 20 o 30 personas. Así que estén pendientes. El próximo sábado, en la casa de Toño Nájera, Tony Almendares, Jesús Nájera, va a haber una venta de yuca con chicharrón. Van a haber dos platos. Un plato con 60 lempiras, el pequeño, y el grande a 100 lempiras. Pero va a quedar satisfecho. Es más, creo que come hasta dos. Y todo esto es para beneficio que estamos tratando de llevar al equipo del grupo Santa Fe, el Club Deportivo Santa Fe de ahí, de Centeno. El Centeno, pues, vamos a tratar de llevar a esto allá a Limón para que haga un intercambio futbolero de deporte. Así que compren la chicharrón con yuca, que estaremos haciendo eso. Vamos a ver qué pasa, qué Dios dice, y vamos a continuar. Gracias, Vigo. Terminamos. Gracias a todos. Nos vimos en TikTok. Milo, Pero esa foto usted no es, hombre. El que está ahí en la foto es usted. ¿De dónde saca esos videos interesantes? Ah, pues yo ya lo seguía, me. Y no sale la foto suya. Pero está interesante todos los videos. A ver si ya le di like. No es cuando estaba joven. Está bueno, está bueno. Bueno, entonces ya nos vamos. Ya nos vamos y cuídense mucho. Gracias por el apoyo, la verdad que son grandes. Un placer poder haber estado con ustedes. Fue una magnífica conversación con el caballero. Más que agradecido con él. Así que Dios está a su lado, nunca lo olviden. Nos vemos después. Ah, tengo que cerrar. Tengo que cerrar el el rombo. Tengo que cerrar aquí. También. God bless you. God's on your side. Don't ever forget. Que Dios está a su lado. Nunca lo olviden. Nos fuimos.